1996.
And the Hess truck was that the Hess truck was a helicopter that year, I think.
Dude, my parents used to get me those every single year.
My uncle got me that
From when I was
or my
born.
grandparents. I have a boatload of them, but
So I still have. I think they're in the garage.
I just remember the commercial with that little kid, and I was like, I want to be that little kid. And then I was like, no, I don't. I don't want to be that little kid. He looks like a total.
So 1996, Sammy Hagar left Van Halen. I mean, he's not the original vocalist of Van Halen. He's not David Lee Roth. But he left Van Halen. Tupac got shot and killed that year.
That was 96?
Yeah.
I thought that was earlier.
Mm-mm. So there is some honorable mentions in here that I will say first. H2O's self-titled album with 5-year plan and all and that type of stuff. That was a good album. That's when I think that was their debut album. Tool, Anima, 46 and 2. Anima is the song. Stinkfist, H. Good album as well. Just didn't make the cut. The 4 that did make the cut. Tupac, All Eyes on Me. That had California Love. I'm mad at you.
California Love.
The Fugees, The Score, with Killing Me Softly, Ready or Not, Fuji La, No Woman, No Cry. Spoiler alert, that's the choice. Marilyn Manson's Antichrist Superstar.
That's it for me.
Beautiful People, Tourniquet. And then Rage Against the Machine, Evil Empire.
Oh.
Bulls on
never mind,
Parade.
Wow. Oh, that's rough.
My choice is the Fugees, The Score. That album is just so damn good.
It is a good album. It doesn't really touch it for me personally, but I'll recognize it for what it is. It won't be my choice. Marilyn Manson, that was like his best of his best, but I still don't think that beats out Rage. I think Rage is, that's probably my choice on that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. But
and I only say that because like I could never see the Fugees sitting in BBC studio, having been told the whole time they're there, you can't curse, you can't curse, you can't curse.
Yeah.
And then, you get the singer enraged. You can't do what you tell.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we have to cut away from that segment.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely the Fugees, The Score for me. That's definitely the choice. I mean, the Tupac album is pretty close because that's a good one. But, the Fugees. 1997.
Real quick before we get into that, I think Diddy wants to tell us anything about Pac. Finally got raided, so I wonder if they found the magic gun.
The truth shall set you free.
And the truth shall set you free.
What movie? Can you?
I don't remember.
Liar. Wait.
You have to do the
Wait,
voice.
maybe it is Ace Ventura.
It's Jim Carrey. I don't know which one.
I think it was Liar Liar. No.
It had to be Liar Liar. Think about the line. It has context.
Yes, it is. It is Liar Liar. It's when he's in the courtroom doing the spiel.
Was that before or after he smashed his head with a toilet seat?
After.
Yeah.
Jordan fades back, swoosh, and that's the game.
He was bleeding at that point.
So 1997, things start getting a little spicy. Literally, the Spice Girls debuted. Notorious B.I.G.
Really
got shot and killed. And Hanson debuted Mbop.
Mbop, ski up it aloo.
It debuted at number 1 in 27 countries.
I don't sing.
That's wild.
How do you? Yeah, that. I'm not gonna say it.
So I'll say the honorable mentions first, because there's a couple. Notorious B.I.G. Life After Death. That had Hypnotize.
How ironic.
Mo Money, Mo Problems. and Sky's the Limit. It's a good one, but not my favorite. Creed, My Own Prison. That song is pretty good.
I like Creed.
And then Limp Bizkit's $3 Bill that had Faith and Counterfeit on it. That was the first album that I heard from them, and I remember getting that album. I'm pretty sure my parents got that for me. Yikes. Because I was quite young.
What was the first CD you ever got?
Korn's Follow the Leader.
Offspring Americana. You know, my friend's got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
At 9.
So those were the honorable mentions. The 4 that I chose. Deftones, Around the Fur, that had My Own Summer, Be Quiet and Drive Away. That's a good album.
I feel like you have better ones on the list to go over.
Blink-182's Dude Ranch, that had Josie and Damn It. Not the best Blink-182 album.
No, but arguably, Damn It, like, put them...
That was a song, yeah.
Carousel...
But Josie was a good one. Josie was in, I think, one of those, like, teen movies back in the day.
Yeah, it was. But Damn It was, like, the anthem at that point.
Yeah.
Not in the sense of, like, the Good Charlotte anthem. Like, everybody knew it.
Yeah. Foo Fighters, The Color and the Shape, that had Monkey Wrench, Everlong, My Hero.
That was, yeah.
That's, I mean, those 3 songs alone are massive smash hits. Then there's Third Eye Blind's self-titled album. This album is good from front to back. This is the choice, hands down. Dude, let me tell you about this album. Semi-Charmed Life. Huge. Graduate. Huge song. How's It Gonna Be? Huge song. Jumper. Huge song. God of Wine. Incredible song. Motorcycle Drive-By. Absolutely. Dude, this album is 10 out of 10 perfection. It does not get better for this band.
Thank you.
For this album.
Thank you for qualifying that.
This album is... It may be in my top 10 albums of all time.
It is very, very good. I still have to give it to Foo Fighters.
That's respectable.
Because, you know, although that was definitely Third Eye Blind's best album, I think there's something to be said for a guy like Dave Grohl to be able to be so intimately involved with Kurt Cobain just, 3 years before, to turn around after everything that went down with Kurt's death and Courtney Love and, you know, Nirvana
all of
obviously
the
not
speculation
going on.
running around, yeah.
Right, and then, you know, you have this band that's, like, literally blowing through the roof, and it all just comes to a screeching halt unexpectedly. To get up from that and 3 years later release something that's got Monkey Wrench, Everlong, like these songs.
My Hero.
Not as a drummer, but as a guitarist and lead vocalist this time. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, that album I think for sure is the one that sent them to the stratosphere. In my opinion. I mean, those 3 songs alone, Everlong, I mean, oh my God.
Looking back on it, that was probably what did it. I think they were probably going to go there either way, whether this album happened or whether it was something
probably,
else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was definitely a step along the way. But,
yeah,
you know.
So for me, it was Third Eye Blind self-titled. Like that, I cannot express, one, how many times I've listened to that album from front to back and just put it on repeat. Like, it is so incredibly good. And then, you know, Foo Fighters, The Color and the Shape for You. Like, that's a solid choice. There was one more honorable mention that I missed. It's another Garth Brooks album.
Don't talk.
Long neck bottle. And 2 pina coladas.
We're inching closer to Garth Brooks' moment of realization. The point at which he did something and everybody was like, no.
So we're going to move to 1998, which is an absolute banger of a year. Kid Rock. Oh, hold on. We'll get. I'm getting too crazy here. So in 1998, this is a weird thing. That's why I wrote it down. Interscope paid $5,000 to a radio station to play Limp Bizkit 50 times on air, just to like push the band. 50 times? Like
$100 a play.
What? I just read that and I was like, that's a weird thing to
Not
do.
a great investment decision, but
TRL debuted.
Carson Daly.
And
was he TRL?
Yeah. And Rob Halford came out as gay officially.
Okay. Meanwhile, Bill Clinton's getting blowies in the White House.
So
that happened this
there's
year.
no honorable mentions album wise. But there is. Sorry. Yes, there is. Placebo, Without You I'm Nothing. That's probably my favorite album from them. That had Every Me and Every You on it, Pure Morning, You Don't Care About Us. That's a good album if you haven't listened to it. Placebo, very underrated band, I think. They did a cover album that is really good. The other honorable mention is System of a Down self-titled that had Spiders and Sugar on it. That's not their best, but
no, System of a Down had a lot coming for them.
yeah.
I think that was early on in their career, at least as that band.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously those guys had been around for a while when they formed it, I thought, but
so are you ready for these 4 absolutely top-notch albums?
I mean, I'm sitting down.
Kid Rock, Devil Without a Cause, Ball with the Ball, Cowboy, Only God Knows Why, like Devil Without a Cause, like, dude, I Am the Bull God.
I remember hearing that blaring in the trailer park.
Ooh, man, that album for me was massive. 2, Korn, Follow the Leader. Freak on a Leash, All in the Family, Got the Life. This was Korn's album.
Yeah, that was foundational for them.
This album for me was huge. For one, it's the first CD that I ever got. And I remember I think my brother had it, and I just straight swiped it. I was like, this is mine now. The third one, Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe. Dragula, Living Dead Girl, Super Beast. I can remember the exact moment that I heard this album for the first time. My sister's in-laws used to have a farmhouse, like in the back roads of like Spring Grove, and I used to go over there, and I wanted to hang out with. I was, 8, 9, like 9 or 10, probably around this time.
You weren't 10.
Well, I don't know if I heard it directly in 98, but they had 2 older sons, and one of them was would watch me when I was younger. So his older brother, his room was like off limits. He had like strobe lights and all that crazy stuff that you had when back in these years, and like black lights and all dark and all these posters. And I remember that album was playing in his room, and I heard it, and I was like, whoa. Because, like, the strobe lights and, like, the weird noises that are on this album, like,
Well, it aligns perfectly.
It's yeah, that album for me, like I remember that exactly. And then the fourth one, The Offspring, Americana. Pretty fly for a white guy. Why don't you get a job? Kids aren't all right.
Arguably the best album from them.
Definitely. Smash wasn't bad, but
No, but
this album for sure was, the one.
Yeah, Pretty Fly for a White Guy became just pop culture explosion.
Yeah.
Like, and it's inappropriate. And like it comes on in my car on shuffle today, and I'm like, skip. Well, assuming my daughter's in the car with me, if she's not, I'll jam it. But when it opens up, you're like,
give it to me, baby.
Why does it sound like that, Dad? Well,
all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy. For me, it's Korn's Follow the Leader.
Yeah,
100%.
I think I screwed up this part of the segment when I said what was the first CD you got, because there you go, it was your first CD and my first CD. But here's the catch, like I listened to Dragula and Super Beast and everything from Hellbilly Deluxe probably before Americana with my dad, in his 80s Chevy truck that didn't have a floor liner, and like it was, that was like straight work truck. And he would pick me up on some weekends, and I would go down to his house and, spend a day with him, and just the whole way there, the whole way back. And it was just like, on repeat. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure my sister may have gotten me the CD of this for like Christmas one year, like my birthday or something. But dude, yeah, that album is really, really solid. But the influence that Follow the Leader had on me, dude, it's in my top 5 albums of all time, just easily. I'm probably going to at some point get the album art from that tattooed on me.
That's cool.
Dude, the artwork from that album was so sick.
Can we branch for 2 seconds? Because it just popped into my head, and I didn't even think about that until all that nostalgia hit me.
You're gonna need a breather for the next year, I'll tell you that much.
Do you remember Audio Grabber?
No.
So it was this. It was like the very first program for a Windows PC that could rip MP3s from a CD.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like it was huge back in the day, and that like started the whole concept of piracy, and that was like the gateway to Napster.
Yeah.
Because without they didn't publish it in electronic format at that point.
Yeah.
You couldn't download a song. If you wanted your song on your computer, you had to buy the CD and then rip it from the CD to the computer, and then up pops Napster, and oh, look at that, everybody's sharing their files. Why aren't we allowed to share what we bought? And then it's like, you bought licenses for one person, and like 98 is when all of that kind of really became a thing. And
yeah, 98 was massive,
the beginning
but
of the end.
We're going to get into a year that is absolutely mind-blowing. We're going to get dark in the first 2 minutes of discussing it. 1999. There was a massive tragedy that happened in 1999. That was when the Columbine shootings happened.
Was it?
Yeah. You can double check me, but
Hold up. Okay, I will, because I just need it for my own self-belief.
Trust me, my brain was scrambled in a half when I was doing
I could have
this
sworn
year.
It was 98. I could have sworn it was 98, but also, you didn't bring up Linkin Park yet.
They're coming. They're coming, trust me.
Well, you brought that up, so I imagine it's coming. Oh, wow, it was, 90.
Yeah.
What? Wow.
So that was I think like the first like real tragedy that I experienced like in my lifetime. Like something that was just like something that you didn't hear of at that point. Like it went out. I mean, I was 9 at that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, a couple years earlier there was the Oklahoma City bombings, but it was probably you were probably too young.
This was like the first thing where I could actually like see something happening and like understand what had happened, and like it was just crazy to think that that was even like a possibility. That is probably, this is the year that like the world started to definitely change.
That's the thing. Up until Columbine happened, that really wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Like, granted, there were shootings at schools. You know, there have been shootings at schools back to the 1700s.
Yeah.
But to have students perpetrating that and on a level like they did.
Yeah.
Unpredictable, unexpected,
unheard
tragic.
of. Very tragic.
And the worst part is that it did exactly what they hoped to do. You know, they went out there, wanted to set an example and have people follow in their footsteps. And here we are, 25 years later, and I'm worried about sending my daughter to elementary school.
We're getting dark a little here. We're gonna lighten it up a little bit. The other event that happened was Eminem was sued by his mom for $10 million.
She was a whore anyway.
I'd
expect nothing less.
I'm gonna go off on the honorable mentions here. There's a lot. So the honorable mentions here: Slipknot's self-titled album that had Wait and Bleed, Spit It Out. That album is incredible front to back. It's shocking that album didn't make it into the top 4. But the top 4 albums are just untouchable albums from this year.
And they are.
We're not there yet. We've got a lot of honorable mentions here.
God.
Korn's Issues album with Falling Away From Me, Make Me Bad. This is when they started to kind of go downhill. This album is probably like the last album that from them that I really was like, this is awesome. Limp Bizkit's Significant Other. I mean, Nookie, Break Stuff, In Together Now. Solid. That was, I think, probably their biggest album, I want to say. I could be wrong, but solid. Another honorable mention, Red Hot Chili Peppers' Californication.
How does... These better be a good 4.
They are. I mean, Scar Tissue, Around the World, Other Side. Dude, this album from front to back is the best Red Hot Chili Peppers album.
Track?
Well, yeah, Californication, obviously. But, dude, this... If for some reason you haven't listened to this album, what are you doing with your life? But go listen to it front to back. Absolute perfect classic. Honorable mention again, Creed's Human Clay. This was the Creed album. Can you take me higher?
That was so off key. I don't know if I know which one it was.
I'm not a vocalist by any means.
No, I'm just kidding.
And it
You're
also
way better than I.
It also had with on what open. I remember being in my sister's basement playing on my small pool table, just listening to 105.7 The X, just waiting for those songs to come on, along with like Stained and stuff. Like
Stained.
That is another honorable mention. Stained's Dysfunction, that had Mud Shovel on it. That was, I don't think it was their debut, but that was like their first like kind of push was when that album came out. One more honorable mention. CKY's Volume 1, 96 Quite Bitter Beings. If you are a CKY fan or a Bam Margera fan, You know the song.
Taylor Davis is out there somewhere, and he could probably sing the whole album. I doubt he'll see this, but Bam
So,
is wild.
Are you ready for the top 4?
I don't know what's left.
Eminem's Slim Shady LP. My Name Is, Guilty Conscience, Role Model. This was the album that put him on the map and shot him to the moon.
Dude, this album was the map.
It's insane how good this album is. You ready for the next one? Blink 182, Enema of the State.
Knew that one was coming.
All the small things. Like,
yeah,
aliens exist.
Yep.
I mean, dude. Another one. Did this had Adam song on it too?
Did it?
I think.
I don't know if that was this one.
This
or if
was
Take
this
Off Your
was
Pants and Jacket.
No.
I know First Date was Take Off Your.
Oh,
Pants
maybe
and
it was
Jacket.
Take Off Your Pants. Man, I
You
don't.
could say it.
Take
Off Your Pants and Jacket. Stay a while.
I forgot to write down the singles from that album. I just realized. The next album on the list, Incubus, Make Yourself. Pardon Me, Stellar, Drive. This album is my favorite Incubus album.
Yeah, it's great.
It's probably in my top 10 albums of all time. And there's another Incubus album that's also in that top, which is Morning View. Like, whew. But Make Yourself, dude.
I probably would have traded that for Californication. Honorable mention, but
I don't know. And then the last one is. Wait a minute.
Did you say the best for last?
1, 2, 3.
You miscounted.
I did miscount.
All right.
So we'll put
back in.
Californication back in. So it's Californication, Enema of the State, Slim Shady LP, and Make Yourself.
You going first or am I going first? I mean, which one of us is going first?
No.
Let's go at the same time.
This one's hard, man.
No, it's not.
I'm going to say...
I promise you, one of those albums rewrote your entire life from that point forward. You know exactly which one it is.
I
It's
think
bigger
I'm
than just the
I
album.
think I'm going to have to say Californication.
Really?
I think so, yeah. It's really hard because I want to say Make Yourself by Incubus. I really do.
I'm not picking either of those.
But I think Californication just takes it for me. Because, like, I can't even, like, the as a ex-musician, like, I don't play music anymore. Like, it's been so long since I've picked up my bass or my guitar or anything. Like, I wouldn't really consider myself like a musician, but I still have the brain of a musician. So like when I listen to that Californication album, like it's wild the things that those guys could do when they got brought together.
Yes. Real quick. We're about to have that moment from Full Metal Jacket where he's in his face, where the drill sergeant's in Pyle's face. You are always a musician. It's in your blood. That's how it works. It's like the Force.
Yeah.
But to your point, the Chili's, man, like they killed it with that one. I mean, there were other good ones, but this one was like hammered. And that's why it's hard for me to sit back and say, my pick is Enema of the State.
I knew that was going to be your pick the minute I started making the list.
Because when you think about all the small things, like without that song, our entire generation looks different. Like it was in so many things and in your face in so many ways. And the band from that album just catapulted to like ridiculous heights. I mean,
Yeah, this was also like the year that like boy bands and stuff, like the boy band thing started to be like massive, like the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera were coming on the scene too. So like with TRL and like total like just all of this stuff during 1999, like, and all of these like massive albums all coming out at once, dude. Like on every genre, there's guaranteed one album from every genre in 1999 that was just the absolute catalyst for that for that like genre that just took it to the next level.
Didn't Vitamin C release Graduation in 1999 too?
That probably, yeah.
Because,
I think she.
I mean, everybody who was anybody that graduated anything in the year 2000, like if you graduated from the toilet,
if you watched a teen movie where they
playing.
graduated, that song was playing.
They played it at our 5th grade graduation. The parents were just like, I think they needed a mop, but
So this next the last year that we're going to talk about today is the
we're
year
not done yet?
the year 2000, Y2K.
Is it a long segment?
This one's probably shorter.
No, I meant the whole thing.
Oh, this is going to be a long episode. I'll just throw it out there because I knew, like, when I started writing these albums down, I was like, oh my god, like we have to just start with it because it's too much to talk about, and this is when music started to like really influence my life.
Y2K.
Y2K. This is also, funny enough, when the Metallica was suing Napster and going after them. So that whole thing was happening around here.
See, I was right. It started like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an idiot.
There's
Well,
2 honorable mentions. One of them is probably only for me because I don't think you like this band. Hymns, Razorblade Romance. Dude, one, Bam Margera made this album go insane. If you watched any of the CKY movies, if you watched any Viva La Bam episodes, if you watched anything that Bam Margera was doing, all of the songs from this album are in it 100%. Like, it is mind-blowing when I look at, like, the track listing and it's like, Join Me in Death. Like, that was the song from the album. That was in so many things that he was doing. Right Here in My Arms, that was also in everything he was doing. Like, this album was just the Bam Margera anthem. But for me, when I listen to, like, this album, it's one of those ones that I listen to that just transports me back to, like, skateboarding with my friends, doing stupid stunts with my friends, like, just doing all of that. Like, listening to this album just puts me right there. I couldn't put it in the top 4 because the top 4 is locked in.
yeah, I mean, I wasn't into covering myself in baby powder and crying a lot, so that wasn't really my band, but I did listen to them a little bit.
The other honorable mention is Papa Roach's Infest.
That's an honorable mention?
Yes. That album, I forgot, like, beside obviously Last Resort, like, I forgot how many songs from that album I actually knew. And, like, that Broken Home song, the intro to that trips me out when I'm listening to it in the car. Because it's, like, that delay, like, guitar, and it, like...
The duck delay.
It goes back and forth in the speaker, and it's just like, whoa. That album's... I forgot how good that album was.
That was fun to try to recreate in Pro Tools.
The top 4, dude. You'll understand why that was an honorable mention. We have Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP. Stan, Real Slim Shady, Way I Am. Like, dude, I remember being in my friend Jesse's house just blaring this album in his room. And this was the album, like, I was 10 at this time, A 10-year-old should not have been listening to that album. I will tell you that. But it was like the forbidden fruit.
We just discovered the root
of why
all of your issues. We now understand why you are the way you are.
Dude, that album, though, is so damn good.
It is good. I will give you that. I wasn't a big Eminem listener back then. I'm not really a big Eminem listener today, but it is good.
The Deftones, White Pony, Change, Back to School. Like, those were the singles from it, but that album for me from front to back is just the best Deftones album. It's so good.
It's their best release.
You're not a big Deftones guy, are you?
I'm not huge on them. I'm not big on like the old school punks stuff.
I wouldn't really. They were like new metal.
I'm thinking Ramones. Wow. You said Deftones, I heard Ramones, and I'm like because I thought to myself they weren't releasing stuff in 2000.
I hate the Ramones. I'd never understood them.
Oh yeah, that was the best Deftones album.
Yeah.
Now that it's in context and I'm not. Ooh.
Number 3 on the list.
Is it hot in here?
Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water.
Oh, rolling, baby.
Dude, this album easily squeaks into my top like 3 albums of all time.
Can you say the name of the album again, please?
Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water. It's definitely a play on words. It's so good. When me and Alicia went to see Limp Bizkit, the lights went dark. No one, like, there was like some random dude that played before them, but that was it. It was literally like some dude played like 3 songs and then the lights went down. Like, you saw Wes Borland come in, and you saw like the drummer come in, and all you hear is Fred Durst just go, "We're gonna keep on rolling," and it just boom, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And dude, how much do you think we saw them for? How much do you think we spent to go there? We were front row.
You gotta tell me when it was.
This was 11 years ago.
2013. $25.
We spent like $30 a ticket. We were front row. You know how much that would cost now? Dude,
it would cost your child's arm.
We saw them at Ram's Head.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's small for them.
It was packed. Dude, it was sick. Someone legitimately took my hat off my head and threw it on stage. They took it off my head and just whoom, and I saw it fly and I'm like, that looks like my hat. And then I was like, wait a minute. And then Fred Durst legitimately walks over and he looks like at the crowd and he's like, anybody's hat? Like mid-set. And I was like, mine. He walked like to the crowd and legitimately handed it to the guy in front of me, and then he handed it back and I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, I have a picture of Fred Durst holding that hat.
Where's that hat today?
I probably threw it away, I'm not going to lie.
What the?
Dude, after that show, that hat was disgusting. Dude, I was soaked from being so hot. It was so jam-packed. It was insane. I digress. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
I was just going to say that sounds like me after every show I've ever played. But
the last album on the out of the 4, Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory. Paper Cut, One Step Closer. In the End, Crawling.
What did Linkin Park release before Hybrid Theory?
Nothing.
Right. So
what album are you thinking of?
I'm thinking back to Columbine and how they referenced Linkin Park.
I don't think so.
Dig into it.
There might have been a single that came out.
Maybe it was a single. Maybe it was a demo. But
it had to have been a single because I mean they released singles from the album a year before the album comes out.
Because I remember that all over the news. It was like this big thing where
no,
they were Linkin Park fans.
when that happened, they blamed Marilyn Manson. The news was like ripping Marilyn Manson apart because they said that he was the one that influenced the kids to do it.
We'll come back to that next week after I can go back and research my research.
So, I mean, we've got the Marshall Mathers LP, White Pony, Chocolate Starfish, and Hybrid Theory. Picking one of these four it's harder than 1999 for me.
Hybrid Theory. It comes down to Hybrid Theory or Chocolate Starfish.
That's the ones for me too.
The thing is, with Chocolate Starfish, one or two of those songs really transcended time.
Truth.
Hybrid Theory,
that whole
damn near the whole album is still valid today. And, is that in part because Chester, is no longer with us? Maybe to a degree, but I don't think so. I think that it's really the music that has
this album
held on.
Is just like, yeah, it is from front to back just one huge ripper of an album.
Yeah, like they came flying out of nowhere, and it was like, Tyson down in the ninth and just left, right, left, right, left. And
I think for me, I'm still gonna have to choose Limp Bizkit, only because I think for my Limp Bizkit album, for my Linkin Park album,
Meteora?
I think Meteora is the one for me.
Meteora was their better album.
I mean, Hybrid Theory is like I can sing that album from front to back, like every single lyric.
Please don't.
I'm not going to, but I know that album like the back of my hand. But I think Limp Bizkit, when that album came out, like that was like just the album that I was like, whoa, what is this music and where can I get more of it? So that'll close out this segment. I mean, I knew it was going to be long, so we had to do it first because, yeah, we're starting to get into albums that changed our life territory.
Oh yeah.
All right.
You're gonna get us copyright stricken.
Not if it's less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, that.
In all reality, we do need to keep on rolling.